Nittelnacht tonight or tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, I thought.
Tomorrow night is tomorrow night. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Night. Yeah. No, I'm saying it's not Friday night, right?
No.
It's Mamish my birthday. My birthday's 10 minutes after the Shkia. Right,
Yeah,
Mamish my birthday.
10 minutes after the Shkia, which day?
24th in the eve. Were you kidding?
Very good. By the way, that beard is looking very good. It's very seasonal.
Yeah. And Costco wasn't making me any money. I took a bell, I was ringing it. Nobody would start dropping it in.
Oh, you want what I saw on I read in the Farvitz today? There's from a guy in Atlanta who has a Santa Claus school. He has from a guy in Atlanta, and he has a gray beard because when he lost his mother and his father, the same within 30 days, about 10 years ago. So when he grew out from the Shloishim, he kept it, and he has a Santa Claus school in Atlanta.
That's great.
Yeah, it was in the forward today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the verdict on learning, Sean?
We're learning, man. And when you do everything else, Hasidish, then we will worry about it. We're gonna learn.
Okay.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No, not at all. No. No, I'll tell you what it really is. That I have another chavrusa, and they didn't want to learn. So I said that whatever you do, that's what we're going to do for the other chavrusa.
Mamish didn't want to learn.
They heard Epis, the thing that you're not allowed to learn tomorrow night.
In my car.
That's crazy.
From Chiako.
Okay.
When I
This internet in this house.
No, look in the back seat.
the Netik Avriel has the minhagim of all the different
My internet is
tzaddikim, what they did in Nittelnach. He has like 3-4 pages on it. That was the some stuff he used to do with the tissue paper. But other tzaddikim did different things.
Yeah. The only thing that brings me is when I was learning Maris, Badika Klaus and all this, I was doing Shimush. So I figured, let me ask Chassidish the Rav when I was learning by Rav Harfenis. So I asked him if I'm allowed to do this Nittelnacht. So I figured this is the way I'll find out if what I'm doing, spending all these hours training in, is that considered Torah or not. So I figured this is a good way to nail it down. He says, Avada, you can do a Nittelnacht. So I said, does that mean it's not Torah? He said, yeah, it's not Torah. I said, so what am I doing? It's not Torah. So what? He says it's chesed. Okay. So let me tell you, that was
In Yaakov, my birthday is the Fruma one. It's January 6th.
you have the other one, right? Yeah. You have the real one. That's the real one, right? I hear you. Okay, ready to roll. Welcome back, Dovi Langer.
Oh yeah, Shalom Aleichem, Dovi.
Good to see you back.
Good to be back. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so the chazah from yesterday. Hold on a second. Oh, did I post today? I don't think. Did I post it? I don't know. Okay, I'll have to post too. There's a lot from yesterday. Right, so yesterday was the Gemara back and forth. If you give a guy lends a yid money and he gives him his chametz, or a yid gives a guy and he lends a chametz. So we said basically, if the chametz is by the lender, right? If the chametz is by the lender, and he said to him that it's kind of me'achshav, then for sure, whoever had the collateral is the one that's going to be chayav. That was basically what we said. Then what else? And then we had the Gemara about the store, right? That was at the end. The store, if you have a store, a Yiddish store, and the Goyish workers, or the opposite, a Goyish store and Yiddish workers, then it always goes bus of the store, right? And then Rabbeinu Chananel said as the other thing. Then we had a Mishna that if a building falls on chametz, it's considered like destroyed. And Shimon Gamliel says only if a dog can't chase it, right? So And the Gemara says you need to be mavatalit. You need to be mavatal the chametz, and then 3 tfachim is the amount of a dog, and money only needs to be buried a tefach. Yeah. So that was that. So we said the practical of that is refrigerator. Not what do you call it? Not refrigerators. Refrigerators, ovens on top of your chametz, whether you have to even check behind them or not, which we said you don't have to do me'ikar adin. Yeah. Okay. So now tonight we get into trumah zamaisa. So as a hakdama, right? If somebody eats trumah, obviously a kohen is the only one that can eat trumah. If Yisrael eats it, so if he does it b'mezid, he's tam a crook. Yeah.
I always end up saying these things. Last week, Yossi Hardoon had to do a wire behind my fridge with the water spout in the fridge. So we had to he pulled the fridge out, and it was out for like 2 hours. So my wife cleaned behind it.
Oh, so that's easy. But if it would have been 30 days before Pesach, then Mastama, you would have to pull it out.
Yeah.
Right? Because within 30, it says before 30 days.
But he needed to get behind it.
You find any chametz back there?
No. I found what?
The old days probably you'd find.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's see weiter. So anyway, so that's Akdama. So trumah, if a Yisrael eats a guy's trumah, not a guy's, if a Yisrael eats a kohen's trumah, then he's considered a ganav, and he just pays it. He just has to pay it back, and that's it. A ganav pays back only what it's worth. Whichever way he wants to pay it back, he can pay it back, which is an interesting. When Bez Hashem we get into Nezikin, we'll discuss. It was an interesting thing because if like I want to steal something, a bottle of schnapps that's worth a lot. Now I'm a ganav, and I want to pay you back, so I could pay you back in potatoes, if I so choose. So it's a scam way to get somebody's schnapps or whatever it is that the guy wants. You're not getting the Tzaddik of the Year award, but that is a way to do it. Yeah. So by truma, you only pay back the amount. You don't pay back an extra fifth. If you ate somebody's truma by mistake, a kohen's truma by mistake, then you have to pay it back, and you have to pay back an additional fifth, which really comes out to 25%, not 20%. So it's a fifth on the outside. Okay, whatever it is. So the question is, if you eat truma of chametz on Pesach, now that's not worth anything, right? Are you damaging the kohen? You're not damaging the kohen. His chametz is worthless, right? Fine. So that's going to be the whole shaila in the Gemara. So let's look the Mishna. 4 lines up from the bottom. So aichel trumas chametz bePesach. Anybody who eats trumas chametz on Pesach, b'shoigeg mishalem keren v'chaimish. If he did it by mistake, so he has to pay back the keren, meaning the keren is the value of the chametz that he ate, plus a fifth. The mezid, if he did it on purpose, then he's potter mitashlumin. He's potter from paying and from even whatever it's worth as wood, because what did he take from the kohen? Nothing. The kohen couldn't do anything with it. Meaning, if he did it by mistake, so then, well, the way Rashi is saying it now, but Rashi goes with the Havamina of the Gemara. If he takes it by mistake, so there was something to it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to understand exactly why, but when you're over on Me'ilah, so the whole thing was a mistake. You're not considered like a crook. So what you're paying back has nothing to do with the payment of the things that you took. So therefore, you'd have to pay back the keren and the chaimish. But if you did it on purpose, so you're stomach ganav, and you didn't steal anything of value because it's worthless, because it's awesome. Okay, we'll see in the Gemara how that goes. But again, the din is you eat the trumas chametz, b'shoigeg you pay keren and chaimish, and amazing you put up with the mashum and the may eat. Okay, so zog the Gemara, Tanan Hasam. Ha'ikol truma b'shoigeg. Somebody who eats truma b'shoigeg, mishalem keren b'chaimish. This is regular truma, not chametz. Stam, regular. If somebody eats truma b'shoigeg, he pays keren and a fifth. Echad ha'ikol makes no difference whether you ate the truma. Echad ha'shoisa, whether you drank the truma, right? Meaning obviously it's a liquid truma. Ve'echad ha'sach, and whether you smeared it, it's like you smeared it on your skin. Echad truma tameya, ve'echad truma tahira, whether it's truma that's tameh, whether it's truma that's tameh. Tahira or tameh mishalim chaimish, you pay a fifth, v'chumsha dechumsha, and you'll pay a fifth on a fifth. right? Yeah, so you're going to be paying. Meaning, if you go eat it again, right? Meaning that fifth gets trumah too. So if you go eat that fifth by mistake, which means you're just having a bad day, right? Because you ate the trumah and then you ate the extra fifth that you separated to pay back the trumah. So you have to pay a fifth and a fifth. The chiddush here that has nothing to do with our sugya, that agav, is that you see from here that shmearing is considered like eating, right? The Gemara is saying that you're over on me'ilah if you take something that's asur and you smear it on your body. If that's the case, do you have to look into lotions and stuff that they should be kosher lePesach, right? Because if you
Wait, how do you see that it's the same as eating?
Because it says echad ha'oichel shaisa and asach.
That they have to pay Karen v'chaimish because you stole his truma.
Right.
It's not. That's nothing to do with eating. It's to do with finishing that he can't use it
Rashi
anymore.
says sicha kishasiyav. No, because the pasuk says achila. The pasuk says achila by meila. The pasuk says dafka to eat it. Right. Ki yochel kodesh. Rashi says. So how is smearing taking? Let's say you take the truma and you smear it on your arm or whatever it is. So how can you call that eating? So Rashi's saying sicha kishasiya, right? So the question is sicha kishasiya deraisa derabbanan, whatever it is. But you see here clearly from here that sicha is kishasiya. If that's the case, can you take chametz shampoo and use it, right? And how
is it
about
only in Me'ila that we're saying this? Why is it also by chametz? I don't understand
well, why
that.
wouldn't if you say sicha is kishasiya, then it applies to everything.
That's a special din by Me'ila, I thought. But
Maybe, but it's not. It's not pashut at all. The Gra holds. The Gra is very machmir on this, right?
Okay.
Then you know those soaps. Does soap need a hechsher, right? So if you hold sicha kishasiya, and you get soap that has tarfus in it, so then you're drinking. It's like drinking, so therefore it's not allowed.
If Rashi is saying it, we cannot hold by it. You're saying if you hold by it.
Yeah, because well here it's certainly sicha kishasiya, right? The question is, do we say it by other isurim or not? It's we'll get to it eventually in more in depth. But that's one thing that you see from this sugya right here. Rashi is clearly saying sicha is kishasiya. It's like drinking, right? Okay, so ibayalu. So it's a third line down. Ibayalu had a shal kishum mishalim. When you pay the keren and the chaimish, do you pay it mishalim lefi mida mishalim or lefi dam mishalim? Do you pay according to the measurement that you ate, or do you pay to the amount that it's worth? Right? Meaning you ate an apple of truma by mistake, so you got to pay back an apple. Or do you say, okay, 1 second, how much was the apple worth? So apple was worth $1. Now there's an apple crisis, and the apple's price went up to $1.50. So then, do you have to pay back $1.50, or do you just pay back the apple? So the Gemara says, when the apple, or I'm just saying an example of an apple, but when it's worth 4 zuz, and at the end it was only worth 1 zuz, there's no question, the fee dumb, right? Then you can pay, you vade pay like it was in the beginning. The fee, the amount that it was worth. The loy garam gazlan, it's no different than a guy who's a gazlan, like we said before. The Tanan, kol gazlanim mishalmin kishasa gazela. All gazlanim pay back for what it was worth when it got stolen. Right? So, right. So then that's the. So we're going to say that if the price goes down, he still has to pay the price. Kiti boiloch to make the price that it was when it was eaten. Kiti boiloch to make kor shabi zuzah lebesayv shabi arba. No, the other way around. It was worth 1, and now it's worth 4. So then, lefi meida b'shal, does he have to pay lefi the meida? The amarlei, because he tells him, griva achal griva mishalim. He ate a measurement, and he paying back a measurement. Meaning, I took 1 apple, I'm paying you back an apple, right? Or I don't know lefi dam mishalim. Or you say no, it's according to the money. Bezuza achal bezuza mishalim. You. Meaning, I ate an apple, you get back an apple, and even though you're losing out, because you can basically sell that apple for 4 and keep 3 as a profit for yourself and just pay back the 1, That's the first tzara. If you dumb mishalim, or no, it goes with what it's worth. Bezuzah acha, bezuzah mishalim. So if you eat it, you ate it bezuz, and you pay back a zuz, and it doesn't make a difference on the size, right? So that's the shaila. Some Rav Yosef.
Does it make a difference if he's paying back in apples or money?
Does it make a difference? I don't know. Why?
He compared it to gazela. If I steal a wooden beam and I pay back the wooden beam, it doesn't matter what it was worth at the beginning. He has what he got.
I'm not sure. Anybody know? Anybody know what's the pshat? I don't know. I'm not sure if that would change. Okay, so let's see. So Amar Rav Yosef, if you find the answer, let me know, please. So Amar Rav Yosef, Tashema, Achel Groigris, if he ate a groigris is a dried fig. B'shilam loy tomorrow, but he decided to pay back with dates. Yeah, so Tavei ala bracha, he gets a bracha for doing that. So now what's going on? If you say that he pays back according to the measurement, then he gets a bracha. The achel griva, the groigris, the shavi zuzah, because he ate an amount of dried figs, which is worth a zuz. Griva the tamarim, the shavi arba, and he gave him back the same amount. Let's say it was 2 ounces of dried figs, and he gave him back 2 ounces of dates. Okay, so but that's worth a lot more. So then he gets so he's a tzaddik. Elai amrit.
See, Yaakov.
Yeah.
What happened? He pays him back with something that has the same value but zero use. I stole $5 worth of apples from a guy. So that's a 2-pound bag, right? So you give it back a 2-pound bag of any fruit. It has value. He gives me back a speck of gold that's worth $5. What am I going to do with it? I can't do anything with it. It's $5 worth of gold. It's $1,800 an ounce. Mamish garnish. What am I going to do with it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's his tough, but I don't know. I'm not sure. We got to learn Mishna's trumahs.
Okay, fine.
Which I don't think is on the schedule anytime soon, but maybe.
Fine.
Right?
Fine.
I think I'm almost up to that. Unless I did it. Did I learn it? I'm up to Shvius. Shvius is before or after. I don't even know. It shows you how well I'm learning it. Okay. Anyways, we can strike that from the recording. But yeah. Okay. And so anyway, so it's talking about where he's a tzaddik because he took 2 ounces of dried figs, paid back 2 ounces of dates, and that's gavaldik. It's worth a lot more. But if it's because he's supposed to pay back in the amount, right? He probably paid back the same amount, right? He ate a zuz of dried figs, and he paid him back with a zuz of dates, right? Yeah. So Amar Abaya, right? So it must be. It's a proof that it's lefi mida. So Amar Abaya loylon lefi dam mishalim. It's really goes. He's paying back the amount. But my Tavila bracha, why does he get a bracha? The achal midi deloy kafat elezvina, which maybe Rabban is answering your question, or maybe not. It's talking about where the people did not jump on to buy it, and he's paying something that people will buy. So even though it's worth the same, but it is easier for him to get rid of it. Since it's easier for him to get rid of it, so he's doing a chesed to the kohen. Mashma, it doesn't sound like it's also to do what you were asking, but it's mashma. He's not getting a bracha for it, that's for sure. Yeah.
So I think I might have seen something for Gershon's question, the answer.
Yeah.
In that case, in Bava Kama, it was talking about that the article note there brings that it was talking about a stolen object that was altered in some way. So since you can't return it in the condition it was taken, so the owner must be reimbursed with money. So I would assume that this case is similar, where whatever was taken, whatever those apples, you can't return that exact apple. It's probably eaten. So now once you don't have that exact object anymore to pay back, so then the question is, do you go basa what it was worth then, now, right? You can't be actually giving that back. So it shouldn't matter whether or not you're actually paying money or apples, right?
What do you mean? It's
you don't have that object anymore. So now the question is, do you go based on what the value was, or the actual, or what it was when you stole it, or what it is today? Whether you decide to pay the value, money for it, or the actual objects of the value of what it's worth today, doesn't really matter. Once you don't have the object in your hand anymore.
Well, once you're not paying back what it is that you took, then it's meaningless what you pay back.
Yeah.
Who says that? It's a Gemara? That's a Gemara.
It just brings it down.
That's from by Gzela.
That's Gzela, but there's right. So does that apply to trumah? Could be. It does apply to trumah. Okay, let's see that. Very good. So Tanan ha'oichel trumas chametz b'Pesach b'shoigig mishalem keren v'chaimish. So if you eat trumas chametz on Pesach b'shoigig, you pay a keren v'chaimish. Right? That's our Mishna. Yeah, b'shem lefi mida mishalem shaper. So if you say that it goes according to the measurement, so then it makes sense why you have to pay back. Right? You took, let's say, a cake of chametz, you got to pay back. You took a cake of trumah, you got to pay back a cake of trumah. Doesn't make a difference how much it's worth, right? But if it goes according to the price, chametz pesach bar damim, is chametz worth anything? Why should you have to pay back keren v'chaimish? So the Gemara answers in Hamani Rabbi Yossi Bagli. You're right. This is Rabbi Yossi Glilihi da Amar chametz v'pesach mutar b'hana. Chametz v'pesach is mutar b'hana, right? So Mamela and a Chanami. So we're saying if this mission is going to Rabbi Yossi Glili, whose chametz is mutar b'hana, but if it would be going according to other opinions that hold chametz is also b'hana, then yes, you would not have to pay back the kohen because it was worthless. Gemara says aim a seifa. So what's pshat in the seifa? B'meizid potter min tashlumin with the me'etzim. If he in b'meizid he's potter from tashlumin the me'etzim. Rabbi Yossi Glili, am I potter min tashlumin with the me'etzim? Why are you potter? Right? Right? At least out the me'etzim. Yeah, he can't eat so good. He can't eat there's two things. There's paying back the trumah, and if the trumah is worthless, then at least the kohen can use it for, if it's tameh, so at least he can use it for firewood. So same thing on Pesach, he can use the trumah to burn his fire. So why is he potter totally? Let him do the me'etzim. So the Gemara answers having nothing to do with the value. It's a different machlokes which we had 3 blot ago. The Tanya Reb Mechuni ben Akana says Yom Kippurim b'Shabbos l'tashlumin. Reb Mechuni ben Akana made Yom Kippur kishabbos for tashlumin, meaning he holds kamle b'derabine. Right, so he holds whether it's karis or misa b'dei shemayim, both of them still get kamle b'derabine, and that's why he's potter, because he's going to be getting killed because he did it b'mezid. Right? It's chai misa b'dei shemayim, which we're going to get to weiter on a base. So then the Gemara says kitanoi. This machlokes, whether it goes with the amount that you took or the worth, is a machlokes tanoim. Ha'oichel trumas chametz b'Pesach, right? Because it says if you eat trumas chametz in Pesach, potter min tashlumin the me'etzim. That's our Mishna. Divrei Rebbe Kiva. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri mechayiv. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says you chayiv. Yeah. Amar le Rebbe Kiva. The Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri b'chima hana yesh leba. What kind of hana did the kohen get from truma that's chametz on Pesach that you have to pay him back? How about if somebody comes and eats truma that's tameh the rest of the year, that the kohen can't get anything out of that? It's tameh, shemashalim, right? That you have to pay, but you still have to pay him back. So why shouldn't you have to pay the kohen back when you eat his chametz? His truma that's chametz. Amaloi says no. Imam truma tameh b'shar yemas hashana, by truma tameh the rest of the year shava b'shein leba heter achil, even though he can't eat it, yesh leba heter hasaka, but he can use it for wood. Timer b'zeh shein leba lo heter achil lo heter hasaka, but here, obviously not going like Rabbi Yossi Haglili. If you hold it, it's also ba'ana. So not only can the kohen not eat it, he can't use it for wood either. Halamazeh daima. What is it similar to? The trumas tusim v'anavim shenitma. It's similar to truma of strawberries and grapes that become tameh, that you can't, there's no heter achila because he's not allowed to eat it because it's tameh. And you can't use it to burn either because grapes have so much liquid, you can't use that for fire, for fuel for a fire. So chametz is the equivalent of that. Yeah. So then the Gemara says, but that's only if he was first mafresh the trumah and then it became chametz. But when he was mafresh the trumah on Pesach, once it was chametz, meaning he forgot. Let's say normally you take the trumah off when it's in by grains, but let's say he didn't take it off by grains, and once it was a cake, he took it off on Pesach. So then divrei hakol ain't a kedusha. Everybody holds that doesn't. It's not even chal. Meaning, if some guy's a clown, right, and he realized he's got chametz on Pesach, and he realized he never took off trumas, so he takes it off and it's chametz on Pesach. So that doesn't even count. That, and then somebody comes along and eats that truma. That truma is not a truma because it's not. It can't be chal. It's also, right? Which we're going to get to in the Vita. Why that is. Fine. Tani Idach, we have another braysos. If a nasan l'koyin is a kodesh, you have to give the koyin the kodesh, right? Davar, what does that mean? Davar aroi lias kodesh. It has to be something that could become kodesh. What does that mean? Prat loichel trumas chametz b'Pesach. That's coming to exclude somebody who ate truma that's chametz on Pesach. Shapatim min atashlumin with me'etzim. Tivir Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, that he's potter from tashlumin to me'etzim. Similar opinion that we said before. Rebbe Eliezer Chasma mechayev, but Rebbe Eliezer Chasma says that he is chayev. Amalei Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, Rebbe Eliezer Chasma, why are you being mechayev? V'chima hano yesh leba. What kind of hano on Pesach? The same kashas we had before. What kind of hano on Pesach does the kohen get? It's chametz. He's not allowed to eat it. He's not allowed to do anything with it. Amalei Rebbe Eliezer Chasma, Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, but he answers him back. V'chima hano yesh leba trumah tameh b'shayim v'sashona. What is when you have truma the rest of the year? What kind of another truma shalim that you have to pay? If you're going to say by truma that's tameh the rest of the year, at least you can use it as fuel. Say by here that you don't have not a heter achila, not heter asaka by Pesach. So he said, no, but you do have a way to allow it to be burned, right? How? Because if the kohen wants, he could put it in front of his dog, right? Or he could put it under his food, right? So obviously he's going that you could benefit from it on Pesach. So now on Amud Beis. So Amar Abaya. So Abaya says, so what's going on with all these machloksim? Right? What's the bottom line? So far, this is all one big kasha, by the way. Ultimately, it's one big kasha. Amar Abaya, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Nuri, Kulu Svirulu Chametz b'Pesach Asabana. They all hold Chametz b'Pesach Asabana. Okay, so then how do you understand the last shita? Uba pligi. To Rabbi Akiva Savar Lefi Dam Mishalim. You have to pay according to the amount that it's worth. Right? So obviously it's not worth anything. You have to pay according to the measurement. So the measurement is whatever amount of chametz you ate, so that's what you have to pay back. Right? So that's how we're explaining the machlokes. So the Gemara says, so now therefore, it's not a kasha, I'm sorry, I said it was a kasha. You see it's a machlokes tanoim. This, whether you have to pay back truma as the size of what you ate or what it's worth, is clearly a machlokes tanoim. So the Gemara says pshita. Right? It's pasha that it's a machlokes tanoim. I don't necessarily understand that kasha. So it's pshita. I mean, we do this all the time. We say lemeka tanoi, right? Lemeka tanoi. It's a machlokes tanoim. It's a pshita. It's a machlokes tanoim. Okay, but now we're saying that a machlokes that we seem to attribute as Amirayim is a machlokes tanoim. That's a thing. So I don't know why here the Gemara is saying pshita. Okay, so my answer is no mal. The same Rav Yochanan ben Nuri nami Rav Akiva Svirle. No, merely maybe Rav Yochanan ben Nuri holds like Rav Akiva Damar Lafi Damar Mishalim, that you have to pay according to what the chametz was worth, the truma was worth. V'hasam hainu time to come chayiv, and the reason why he's mechayiv over there is Mishna to Savar like Rav Yosei Glili, because he holds like Rav Yosei Glili Damar chametz Pesach mutar ba'ano. you would think that maybe he holds that chametz pesach is mutar b'hana. Kamash malon, that he doesn't hold that chametz pesach is mutar b'hana. He goes that you have to pay lefi the measurement, and the measurement is the measurement. It has nothing to do with what it's worth. Well, maybe Taka holds like Rabbi Yezek Glili. So then the Gemara says, "Imkain nehad delay Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Rabbi Kiva." So then Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri answered Rabbi Kiva, "Yehid mahad delay Rabbi Elazar Chasma, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov." The same way, Rabbi Elazar Chasma answered Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov that you could use it, right? You can use it to give the dogs, right? But he didn't answer that, so clearly he holds it's also behana. Okay, so the bottom line is this: whether you pay trumah back as a measurement or as the amount that it's worth is a machlokes tanoim. Fine. Tana Rabbanan.
This whole shaila, what you pay and how you pay, how much, is completely in theory.
Why
I mean, if I was this kohen, and I would never go to Beis Din and say, look, this guy ate my chametz on Pesach. He'd never get a penny again in his life. What, you own chametz on Pesach? He's crazy? He's going to have to be mefarsim that he owned the chametz on Pesach.
Listen, who owned the kohen?
The kohen.
Gershon, let me see Yaakov.
Yeah.
What happens? You gave a mushal. You're talking about Reb Chanina. Anyway, you had the kohen has his elderly father. He must eat chametz. So the kohen owns chametz. The father has to eat chametz. He can't eat any other food. So it has shavius or not. It's mutter for him to have. He has to have chametz in the house for his father.
Then it's mutter ba'achila. And there's no shaila in this Gemara.
I know it's no shaila.
That's the same, but maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it.
The braysos can't be talking about that. They're both agreeing it's asur ba'achila. You're saying in this case it's mutter ba'achila.
The case where he needs the achila.
What?
What happens if it's a case where he needs the achila?
Then it's mutter ba'achila. The braysos is talking about where it's asur
does it
ba'achila.
give it value? If I steal it, do I have to give him back $10? Because now the chametz is worth $10.
The braysos cannot be talking about that case. Of course it has value. For achila, it's mutter for him to eat. Everyone's agreeing here, it's asur to eat.
I mean,
I'm gonna balabatish your answer. In that situation, what you do is you sell the chametz to a guy, and you ask the guy to feed the kohen. That's what, if somebody has to eat chametz on Pesach, what we do is we sell the chametz to the guy. Yeah, that's what we do. Baruch Hashem doesn't come up too often.
Yeah, that's what you do.
You sell the chametz to the guy, and then you ask the guy to feed.
That's today.
That's today. I'm saying it's a cop-out answer.
It's
a cop-out. It doesn't answer the. Yeah.
But even today, if we had real trumah, is it mutter to sell trumah to a guy?
Oh, I don't know, Taka. You're right. I hear that. I don't know. Okay, let's see about this. So, Tana Rabbanan. Ha'echel kezayis trumah, mashal keren v'chomish. Like we've been saying, if you eat a kezayis trumah, right, then you pay keren v'chomish. Abba shol omer ad sheyeh bo shava prutah. It has to be a shava prutah. It has to be worth something. Yeah. So meaning it's a machlokes tanoim. The Tana Kama doesn't care about it being shava prutah, right? And Abba Shol says it does. So my time with the Tana Kama. What's the reason for the Tana Kama? Omar krov ishki yochel kodesh b'shkoga. It says a person eats kodesh b'shkoga b'shoigig. V'achila, how much is achila? Kezayis. So we don't care how much it's worth. Is it a kezayis or not? Right? Meaning somebody eats something. It doesn't say anywhere about when you have to eat a kezayis of matzah on Pesach that it has to be worth a shava prutah. It's worth a whole lot more. But I'm just right. But it doesn't. What's a shava prutah have to do with it? You ate a kezayis, you got to pay. Baba Shol, no, my time. What does Baba Shol say? Why does it have to be shava prutah? Amar krov and nosan. It says you have to give, and we know ain't nesina pachas for shava prutah, right? That's why a marriage doesn't work less than shava prutah. No such thing as giving. Less than shava prutah is not giving. I'm sorry, yoichal. It says yoichal. Hahu pratlam mazik hudas. No, that's coming to exclude somebody who damages and didn't eat it, right? So that's what you need that for, not to tell you that it's a chilas kezayis. The Tanakama Oksiv and Nasan. The Tanakama, it says Nasan. We know Nasan needs to be a shava prutah. No, that's for something that has the possibility to become kodesh. right? Meaning it's as long as it has the possibility that it could be hektish, fine, or trumah, yeah, fine. So that's that machlokes. Tanur Rabbanan, different machlokes. Eichel trumah pagas b'kezayis. Mishalim is a keren. He pays the keren. Ve'enim mishalim is a chaimish, and he does not have to pay the fifth, right? The extra fifth, yeah. So what's up shot in this? Heichidami, what's the case? Either less pay shava prutah. So if it's less than a shava prutah, keren nami no lishalim. So he doesn't have to pay the keren either. V'ida ispa shava prutah chaimish nami lishalim. Again, he did it by mistake, right? So here, this sheet is a new sheet. He's saying you pay the keren, you don't pay the chaimish. So the Gemara says no shach. If it's less than a shava prutah, don't pay the keren. If it's more than a shava prutah, then you have to pay the chaimish. So when it answers lo'ilam the ispa shava prutah. There's a shava prutah in it. Even the less pay kezayis, since there's no kezayis in it, mishalim is a keren. He pays the keren, ve'enim mishalim is a chaimish, right? But he doesn't have to pay the fifth because in order to pay the fifth, you need to have a kezayis, right? But the keren, you still what you stole. That's shava prutah. That's telling shava prutah. Amru Rabbana kamed Rapapa. So they said this in front of Rapapa. Hataloika abashol. That's not like Abashol, right? Shol dika Abashol, Amar kimin sheyesh b'shava prutah. From Abashol holds as long as there's a shava prutah, he doesn't care about kezayis. Avagad the less big kezayis, even though there's no kezayis, right? So Amrlu Rapapa filu tema Abashol. Maybe you could even say it's like Abashol. Abashol tarti boy. Abashol requires two. In order to be mechayev somebody who ate trumah by mistake, a trumah keren and a chaimish. It has to both be, he has to do shava prutah and a kezayis. So the Gemara says, "Umi boy abashol tarti." Abashol requires that the trumah should be worth a shava prutah and a kezayis. V'tanan, we learned in the Mishna abashol oimer esheyesh b'shava prutah chayiv b'tashlumin. Right, something that's worth shava prutah is chayiv b'tashlumin. Eshe'ein b'shava prutah ain't a chayiv b'tashlumin. He doesn't have to pay. So Amar loy Amar shava prutah elinian meila bavad. We only said shava prutah by meila. But the trumah ain't a chayiv actually have a kezayis. It's by trumah it has to have at least a kezayis. V'im isa kivan sheyesh bekezayis mi. It shouldn't say ad sheyesh bekezayis. It should say kivan, since it had a kezayis, right? You should be mechayev, right? So therefore, it's clear that he doesn't hold of that you need both. So we say tiyuf tetzakasha, fine. So then the Gemara says, "V'afra papa hadebe." Even Rav Papa was chayzer to say that Abashol does not require two. Titania v'chata b'shkaga. Right? You did a chet by mistake. Right? You ate the trumah by mistake. Prat lemezid comes to exclude somebody who did it on purpose. Right? That he doesn't pay a chaimish. I mean, he's not even over on meila. Meila is by mistake. V'aloi dinhu. It should be a kavachaymer. Right? Mashar mitzvahs shechayev and chorus, other mitzvahs that you chayev chorus, like chaylev or dam. So paiter behenas amazid, then somebody who eats it b'mazid is potter, right? Because you're going to say come to the ramine. So meila she'ain by chorus, meila doesn't have chorus. Einay din shepotter is amazid. Then of course somebody who eats it b'mazid is potter. Again. It's other mitzvahs that you chayiv chorus. You're potter from if you do it b'mezid, right? So meila that you're not chayiv chorus, which means it's more mekel, then for sure it should be potter from mezid. So when it says no, the opposite. Lo yamamar b'shar mitzvah shekain lo chayiv ben misa. By other mitzvahs you're not chayiv misa. Time meila shechayiv misa, but by meila you are chayiv misa. So now the Gemara seems to say misa is the stricter one. Right? Not chorus. Tamalar b'shkaga, so it comes along b'shkaga to tell you problem mazid that. So you would think a mazid would have to be chayiv by meila. We're saying no, it's not. So for Amar later Nacham Yitzchak l'Rav Chiya bar Avin, Hai Tana mehikora alim elei chorus, u'lebasayf alim elei misa. What's going on here? This Tana first he says chorus is stricter, and now he's saying that misa is stricter. And they told him back, this is what he means to say. No, if you say by other mitzvahs, by other mitzvahs, you're not chayiv misa with less than a kezayis. But by meila, you are chayav misa less than a kezayis, right? So that's why. So then you would think, so therefore you don't have it. So you don't have mila by chayav. So we say by mazid. So it says b'shkaga. Prat lemezid. I'm sorry, you would think that you do have it by mazid. So therefore prat comes to tell you that. Fine. So that's what he meant to say. Not that chorus is stricter or misa is stricter than chorus. But I'm related to your mind should be at rest because you made my mind at rest. We're going to go a little weiter because it goes down a good bunch of lines to the next Amud. But what's so good about my pshat? The Rabbi Rav Sheshes shadubu narga, because Rabbi Rav Sheshes put an axe in my pshat, right? Because man shamalei the Omar next on Amud, man shamalei the Omar hizid b'mila b'misa. Who's the one that said that somebody is over on mila b'mezid he gets misa? Rebbe. That's Rebbe. The Tanya hizid b'mila. Somebody does mila on purpose. Rebbe amr b'misa v'chamar b'ashara. Rebbe says you get misa. Chacham say it's just an ashara. It's not. It's a lav. It's not. You don't get misa. My time at the Rebbe. Why does Rebbe say that you are chayiv misa? Amr Ravo gamar chet mi trumah because he learns that chet from trumah. Not trumah b'misa. Just like trumah, if you eat the kohen's trumah, you get misa. Af meila b'misa. So too, if you are over on meila, you take hektish by mistake. You're over on misa. Umina, and we learn out from it. Ma truma, you go the other way. Ma truma kezayis, just like truma is a kezayis. Afil is a kezayis. That was Rebbe's shita. Umaskav l'Rapapa, and Rapapa asked, the Rebbe k'Rabbanon svirulei. Who says Rebbe holds like the Rabbanon? Dilma k'Abba Shol svirulei. Maybe he holds like Abba Shol. Damar yesh b'shava prutah. Avagav the lesba kezayis. Maybe he goes like Abba Shol, who says that has nothing to do with kezayis. Maybe he goes with Abba Shol that it has to do with shava prutah. That was Rav Papa's kasha. But what do you mean? How could Rav Papa say that he goes like Abba Shol, who holds it only has to do with shava prutah, not with kezayis? For Rav Papa, who damar the Abba Shol tarti boy. Rav Papa is the one that says that Abba Shol says you need two things: shava prutah and kezayis. So Elishmami no hadame must be Rav Papa changed his mind. So therefore, nobody holds that you need both a kezayis and a shava prutah in order to be chayiv on trumah. But now the Gemara just continues a few more lines. It's not hard. Actually, it's more interesting. This is a daf is not so. Sorry, okay. I'm trying to make it more. It's a tough one. It's not so tough. The daf. It's more like it's trumas and maisos and mila stuff we're not used to, unfortunately. But the maisa there was a stira in the Gemara before. What's considered stricter, chorus or misa? Right? What misa b'dei shemayim is stricter or chorus? Right? So chorus has it that the person dies young and his kids die young. Misa b'dei shemayim is that just the person dies young, right? So those are the two variables. So but the braysos seems to be saying that he was in the havamina that chorus was stronger, and then it says that misa is stronger. So what's going on there? So mar brei the Ravno Amar hachi kamar. No, this is what the brayso means. He's saying. The difference between meila and other mitzvahs is shaloi osaven she'ein mischaven kim mischaven. By other mitzvahs, if you don't do the aveira with kavana, right, then you're not chayiv. What she'ein mischaven for l'mashal Shabbos, right? She'ein mischaven la'achter is a tolish v'chodach is a mechuber. Let's say you're bending down to pick up a piece of grass that you thought, or a flower. You cut a flower before Shabbos, and you wanted to go pick it up from the floor. So if you had kavana to cut the one that's detached, v'chatach as a mechuber, and by mistake you cut the one that's mechuber, shapater. You're pater on that, right? You didn't have any intention whatsoever to cut this flower down. I mean, you meant to cut it, but you were cutting a flower that was already cut. All right, and by mistake you cut a flower that was still attached to the ground. Tamar b'meila. But by meila shem nischaven l'schamen begizei chulin, v'nischaven begizei oila shemal. Let's say they had the shearings of the sheep, right? And you thought you were using them to warm yourself. They were using chulin, and you ended up using of hektish that you mal. So you see that there's something very strong about meila that it's you're chayiv on that, even if you did it by mistake. Mashenk and every other mitzvah in the Torah, you are potter on a mistake. So that's his way of explaining the previous price, and not that it had to do with Karas and Misa being two different things. To whether he first says Karas is worse than Misa or Misa is worse than Karas. No, Hachi Kamar. Different. Loi. So misasik is a little different than somebody who doesn't have kavanah. This is mamish very negayah to Shabbos. Let's say you were. That's why I started explaining this case before I explain that case. If you had kavanah to just pick up a detached flower, and you cut the mechuber, then you potter, right? Let's say you stuck your hand into a kli to take something. And you ended up anointing your hand with oil, meaning you didn't know there was oil in this pot. You put your hand in the pot, you thought there's popcorn in there. And then it ended up being oil of hektish, so you're going to be mal. Right? So the difference between these two cases is that the second mandam, Rav Nachman Yitzchak says, if you intended to cut the flower that was detached, and you ended up cutting a flower that was attached, that's called kavanah, because you did have kavanah to cut it, right? He's saying the only way you can have not kavanah is if you didn't intend to cut it at all. Your intention was to pick up a flower that you thought was detached from the ground. You ended up picking a flower that was attached. So that's Eina Mischaven. And Meila, the equivalent of Meila for that would be if you put your hand into a pot, take something out, and it wasn't there, it was oil. And then that would be the problem. Okay, so that's tomorrow we don't have to do as much tomorrow. So I'm sorry for keeping the
so you could keep it. Eliyahu will be happy.
What do you mean?
You're not learning as
I'm
much.
I'm not. I was just asking.
Oh, Nittel, we're learning less on Nittel now. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, but we gotta do more because it's Erev Shabbos coming up.
I know. So now we
the
don't.
whole thing I just read on the Nittel, whatever. The whole thing started with it was unsafe to learn. I'm saying because they would see you learning or the guy and whatever. You know the minhag behind it?
Well, there's a few things. There's a few pshatim. What did you hear?
No, so it said that back in the day when you had to put a light on to learn, or you had to walk in the streets, and the guy would see you learning on their holiday or whatever on the streets, it would be.
It would put you in danger.
Right,
Who says that? Who says that?
It was not to Gavril or something like that. One of these.
I think that's one of the pshatim.
Okay.
But then nowadays, basically all the besides the Hasidim, all the Litvisher and all this, they don't believe in it. They learn all day. What?
Clearly,
but the Hasidim are still going strong.
What else we heard?
Yeah,
that's how we roll. You know, when we want to now, look for everything.
We always go strong.
I don't know.
That or smoking cigars.
That's right.
What's the din lemaisa if you borrow something from someone and you break it? You have to pay them back what it's worth today. You have to get them back exactly.
Yeah, what it's worth today. People don't realize that. It's what it's worth today.
So I borrow.
I thought the bricks though. When somebody built a house in bricks, you got to return. I'm saying not worth it's worth today. The actual bricks or whatever.
Right, for Costco?
You have to pay back. Let's say you smash a guy's car. Let's go with a common case. You smash a guy's car.
Yeah.
Totally. Right? Without insurance. Yeah? You don't.
And he added chrome wheels to it, whatever, let's say. You got to
only pay back what the car is worth today, not what it's going to cost him to buy a new car.
Right, but if he put more money into the car.
No, it's what it's worth today.
Uh-huh. Oh,
let's say you put in
resale
value.
Resale value.
Correct. Let's say you put in chrome wheels and nobody cares for the chrome wheels, right? And the guy can't sell it for that. So it's whatever it's priced at.
Yeah.
Can you tell the guy before he borrows it, if you total my car, you got to get me a new one?
Oh, I don't know.
Does that work? Because I don't want to be stuck, Second year
I'm not
a lot. Loses 25.
Stay tuned in about 3 years when we start Nezikin Bez Hashem. But you're gonna have to go through your
have to sign a star.
What?
You probably have to sign a star with the Kenyan in order for anything like that to work.
I don't know. I'm mamish don't. I guess you can make up whatever Tanai you want, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it would have to be a Kenyan on it. It would have to be a real Tanai.
Yeah.
But if you don't do any of that, it's replacement value.
Out of the driveway.
What?
Leave the driveway in the driver's seat. Is it?
They just sell you stuff.
Is it what?
I don't know. You blanked out.
As soon as you start driving, it's your Kenyan.
No, a Kenyan on the, not a Kenyan on the car. A Kenyan on the agreement, on the Tanai.
You're making an action. You're doing a positive action by driving the vehicle. That means you have das of what you're doing.
No, it doesn't mean you accept the Tanai. It means you accept that you're borrowing it. Your Kayev is a shomer now. That's nothing to do with the Tanai you made. The Tanai is a separate thing.
Right. I don't know. I'm not sure.
So back to not learning. So what do you hold about the whole thing?
I promise you, Naftali, I think you should learn from Shkia till Nets tomorrow night. 100%. And then you should eat. Then you should eat at Alois so that you can fast.
Chinese?
Like an Erlich Yid.
Chinese?
Not only that, I think you should tell your wife that she should cook all the food tomorrow night so you can be Mekayim Tayamel before Alois.
Oh my God!
You knew that was coming.
How's that for a chumrah?
I like it. Put in a halacha tweet.
Maybe I should.
Yeah. You should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about the people who?
Do we have to daven mincha early on Friday?
No.
What about the
So
people
you
who
say
are very?
Anenu? You don't say Anenu?
Why not?
Before Shabbos.
No Avinu Malkeinu. No Avinu Malkeinu. That's it.
And if you should daven early, you still don't.
Even still no Avinu Malkeinu.
Right. So there's no difference in daven early or not.
Correct.
Can you make early Shabbos?
Yes, but you can't eat.
Oh, you can't.
Listen, there is a sheet that holds. There are sheets that hold that you can. There are sheets that hold that you can.
Really?
What?
Really?
Is the Rav
There's a sheet that says you can make early?
The sheet is that when you have a Kabbalah Shabbos, the fast is over. Sure.
Is it Rabbi Chikinsky?
Kaczynski?
How do you say it?
He's the only Rav you hold on the fast days. It's only one.
That's right.
What's Yaakov?
After Shkia, do you still say Anenu?
You daven mincha after the Shkia? I don't know. That's a good question.
That's your minion.
Not my minion, my kaisel.
Right here.
Isn't that sorry, but the one fast that if it could fall on Shabbos, you'd have to fast them?
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
He's got a game on.
My kids just put on a game if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
4 seconds left.
You know they want.
Take it away from him.
What are they watching?
What are you saying? Oh, if it falls out on Shabbos?
There's a 4-second game left.
It can't.
All the Tanaisim, I think. All the Tanaisim.
Tell them all there's
No,
a
the
6
Sarah can't fall on Shabbos, but I think there's a halacha that if it would be able to fall on Shabbos, we would have to fast on Shabbos. It's more common than Sisru of it that way.
I don't remember. By the way, does Olam have any recollection where this sugya was?
No, it's not fair.
Wasn't that long ago?
What a Sarbatavik?
No, fasting on Erev Friday.
Erev Shabbos, yeah.
Erevin.
Yeah, we had an Erevin. Yeah.
I did not remember, but it's an Erevin. I was like, huh? Erevin. That was real chizik. Let me tell you, it was a real chizik.
Wow, that makes you really want to continue.
It just doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah.
It was a third of an Amud and an Amud Aleph. Yeah.
Did we even refer to it then? That it's gonna? Yeah, we said that it's gonna be coming up by Sarah Batavis.
Go to the tapes.
Yes, we discussed making early Shabbos.
You think I would remember? And Mama had no recollection.
No, I think we said that's when everybody makes early Shabbos.
No, that's it. They just don't daven late, but they don't.
No, when we had the share, you said that. I thought we're making early Shabbos in that share.
Yeah, I remember that. I thought
you meant that no one waits, but you said I thought we make early Shabbos.
If I guess I hear.
What about all the Tayamah guys? You can eat on Erev Shabbos?
You could taste, but you got to spit it out. If only if necessary.
Hold on. Siakam, what about
necessary?
I smell only.
What about using a shot cup like they have them in Kippur?
We got fouls. 4 seconds left. One more
What about
phone.
using a shot cup, Tiago?
Like shiurim. What about shiurim?
Right, shiurim of schnapps.
For
That's
Toyama?
Are you allowed or no?
Only if you have corona. Only if you have corona.
What by the way, the rapid tests come with a kit to test the system. That it says this is a positive COVID test. You check the system to make sure that it's actually reading.
Just cooling.
It's like what do they call that? Control.
Here.
So
It's a control.
I'm sure you can sell those online to people that want to get out of work.
But would that work that I don't have to fast?
Guys, go home.
Right here.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the last notification, Lavana?
I'm saying parrots. I don't think you can get the parrots. I don't think you can get
There's
the
a nice
vaccine
moon
if
once
you're
I check the
positive.
moon. Harold, you're right. Where is Harold? Harold just asked that.
Yeah, what's the last
No,
day?
you got a few more days. You got a few more days, but I think it's going to be bad weather. I think there was a nice moon out. Is it still out? You're right, Harold. Thank you. I'm going to go try out, check it out now. You still have till at least Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is. Anyways, all right, everybody, stay safe. Toby Langer, feel good. And
Night, Yashikayach.
okay, sag gesund.
Thank you.
Okay.